it's Amy Scott Grant. They call me the spiritual ass kicker. And I want to talk to you today about an interesting phenomenon that I've been noticing lately. I mean, not like it's new, but I've definitely been noticing it a lot. In fact, it came up recently at an event that I went to. I was talking with some neighbors, and I'm calling it compartmentalized conversations. And what I mean by that is, and I bet you can relate to this, think about somebody in your life where when you have a conversation, you know there's certain topics that you just don't go there, right? There's certain topics you totally avoid with certain people in your life. With your mother or mother-in-law, maybe it's about money or maybe it's about sex. It doesn't necessarily have to be a taboo topic. There could be people in your life where you're friends, but you just don't talk about politics like at all because you're on totally opposite sides of the fence. Or you don't talk about religion because they're in a totally different space around that than you are. Or there's certain topics you just don't even want to get somebody started on. I know I have a friend who was like, please do not get my in-laws started talking about the price of gas. She said they will go on for hours about who had what price and just last week how much it was. She's like, I can't even take this conversation at all. She's like, so don't mention fuel, gas, automobiles, Detroit, any of it. Okay. All right. So you know what I'm talking about, right? So I'm calling them compartmentalized conversations because what happens is, if you have one or two people like this in your life, that there's one or two topics you can't talk about, it may not be such a big deal, right? It might not even be noticeable to you. But if you have a lot of people in your life that you can't be totally fully expressed in front of, in other words, well, with this whole side of the family, we just don't talk about XYZ. And then with all these people at work, they have no idea about the spiritual stuff I'm doing. And then with my neighbors, I don't tell them about what's going on in my relationship. And then this whole other part of my life doesn't know about my sexuality. Like a lot of us are walking around with those types of issues, for example. What does that do to you? Well, you might consider that compartmentalizing all of these conversations with all of these people in your life, it's not just about the conversation. You're actually walling off parts of yourself. Not to mention, it takes a tremendous amount of effort just to maintain like what's on the do and don't discuss list with certain people, right? But really, it's making you smaller. I know. I wish it was making us all lose weight. That would be awesome, wouldn't it? But that's not what I mean. I mean, it's making you smaller in terms of who you get to be and how you get to be around certain people in your life. In fact, most people, if you ask them, would consider themselves very lucky if they have one person in their life that they feel they can completely be themselves, one person they can say absolutely anything to, and they don't have to worry that it's going to start a fight, get them judged, have them try to be converted or anything else like that. So who in your life do you have to have compartmentalized conversations with? And you might even have, I'm not saying you got to map it out like a mind map or a Venn diagram or anything like that, although that might be kind of fun if you had nothing else to do today. But I'm just saying I think it pays to think about where in your life this is coming up and where in your life this is happening. Because if it's happening a lot, what is that doing to your self-image, your self-expression, how you feel about yourself? It's not just about whether or not you feel accepted. It's also there's certain people we don't want to go certain places with because we don't want to get into an argument. So we're just avoiding conflict. It's actually like a subconscious fight or flight kind of thing. Because sometimes a certain topic is going to prompt a disagreement, right? It may not be a full-blown fight, but it may be an argument. Certain people are so passionate about what they believe that they feel everyone should believe what they believe, right? Tolerance is something that's really missing in a lot of aspects of our culture these days. Like being able to tolerate and accept other people's perspectives and views and not have to make them bad or wrong for having a different view or perspective than the one we happen to hold. And people talk very loudly on social media, particularly Facebook, about what they do and don't believe and what they do and don't think is right. And if you hadn't noticed, all it does is it doesn't prompt open discussion. It doesn't prompt, really, can you show me why you believe that's true but not this other thing? No, it's just like, yeah, it's all bullshit. Yeah, well, if you listen to that media source, clearly, you have that set of beliefs and that's why you listen to that media. This other media says stuff, but they're all liars. Like, where's the open discussion? Where's the conversation? Instead, it's like, I'm right, you're wrong, you suck. That doesn't get us anywhere. And people, I don't know why people post their positional beliefs on Facebook. It's not converting anyone. It's not changing anyone's mind. All it's doing is pissing people off. And a lot of people post stuff on Facebook that they'd never say to someone's face in real life, which is another like weird dynamic that social media has turned into. I don't know. It's why I spend a lot of time on Instagram. It's all like pictures and interesting and visual and not super political, and you don't see a lot of heated arguments. If someone puts up a picture of cute little kittens on Instagram, you don't normally see like a bunch of comments like, wow, you're so lame. Dogs are clearly the answer. I don't know what's wrong with all these kitten people. Just like, it's like, oh, kittens. Or you just go on to the next one if you're not a cat person. Like pass. Ooh, puppy. Ooh, parakeet. Whatever. My point is not about politics. My point is about these conversations. If you're limiting yourself inside of conversations, a lot of conversations, you're limiting who you are. You're not fully expressing yourself. So in part 2 of this video, I'm going to share with you what you can do about that. But in the meantime, give it a little bit of thought. Like, how does that feel when you know that you can't talk about certain things with certain people? And I'll see you in the next video.